Hello guys from Plant Reviews, today 27th of May, late spring, and I will give you an update about the Pleione formosana grandiflora alba that Anglia Bulbs sent me a few weeks ago, and I planted with you. I made a video in this plastic fruit box with the medium. It is about 50% sphagnum moss and 50% bark chips. This variety is a variety of the Pleione formosana that rather than being bright pink as the Pleione formosana with a yellow throat is whitish with should be white really, but this one has kind of a pinkish hue, a pinkish tone, while I had another Pleione formosana flower that from a bulb that I bought a couple of weeks earlier. Then Anglia Bulbs sent me the Pleione formosana, its Pleione formosana bulbs, but unfortunately this one has been munched a bit, as you can see by the snail at the on the flower stem. Therefore the flower is drooping, and there's been the petals have been also damaged by snail, as you can see, and probably some wind I had in the past few days. Luckily these ones have been pretty much untouched by the wind. They were in a little bit more sheltered position. And this one, I have one flower absolutely untouched by either snail and wind, while another one has been damaged as well by snail or slugs. As you can see, the lip has been a bit damaged. I decided to today to show you how to pollinate the Pleione bulbs in order to get some seeds. Seeds of Pleione bulbs really needed to be cultivated in the laboratory conditions, because they need nutrients provided usually by agar gel, and if you plant them in just moss, sphagnum moss, or another medium just outside in a non-sterile environment, the chances of actually developing the seeds are very low. Anyway, I actually tried some in sphagnum moss this year. Unfortunately, in late winter, the seeds really of Pleione they need like a cold treatment of several weeks before sprouting. So at the moment I have nothing sprouted yet. I have just a plastic box of sphagnum moss, and that's it. But I will see if next year we'll develop anything. At the moment I am just keeping them moist. Anyway, let's talk about the pollination. I will use this flower that anyway has been damaged, therefore cannot form as a seed pod, as an example of the Pleione flower. Pleione flowers have 3 sepals and 3 petals, like most orchids, actually all orchids, even if some of them in some species they fuse. You can see actually in the olive flower I have still a hole that the 3 petals are, the 3 tepals are the uppermost one, that's a sepal, and the 2 lateral ones. The petals of the orchids, the petals of the orchid are instead the 2 lateral ones and the bottom one, that is the lip of the orchid. This is a modified petal that basically serves in many orchids as a landing area for the insects when they pollinate the flowers. The shape of the Pleione orchid is, I would say, very typical for an orchid. Indeed, resembles a lot a kind of Cattleya, for example, a very famous tropical genus of orchids that are considered as orchid stereotype, basically. This is the lip. The lip actually starts as the upper petal. However, the orchids then rotate the flower in order for the lip to go downwards, and because obviously for the insects is more convenient to land from downwards and then reach inside the area of the lip, the column, where the nectar is, as well as the pollen and the stigma, so the female and the male part of the flower. So I will just show you. I am taking out the lip, so you can see this structure. Inside the lip there's an organ, a structure called column, that in orchid keeps both the male and the female part. I'm trying to now to stretch up this so I can show you better where the male and the female part are. I hope that is on focus. Yeah, okay. So the first part of the column it contains the male part. So with the toothpick, perfect, just take it off and you will get 2 yellow capsules of pollen. Let's see if I can show you better. Okay. Okay, better here probably. I'm sorry guys that it is so difficult to show you the pollen, but it's really tiny. Okay. Sorry guys, okay, you know what, let's go near the green leaf. Okay, near the green leaf, okay. You see at the top of my toothpick this yellow area. That's one pollen granule. Usually they have 2. So what I will do now with this is to pollinate one flower of the other Pleione. I say to pollinate using the pollen from the damaged flower to the other flower, because hopefully, having bought them from 2 different nurseries, they are 2 different stocks, so the fertility of the crossing should be better. So I will take this flower, and I hope that you can, the camera is on focus. So basically you will need to put the pollen in the column. So at the back of the flower, I'll show you what I am doing actually in the damaged flower. At the back of the flower, sorry, behind the male part, there is the female part that is very sticky, and so that's, so this is the male part and that's the female part. This is the female part that is very, very sticky. This flower has been damaged, so is not that sticky probably. The column already was damaged. However, usually it is really sticky, and I will need to put the pollen in this area of the flower. So let's see if I can do that. So the pollen granules are the pollen granules are also sticky because usually they are brought around by the pollinators, and I'm sorry I don't have 3 arms and 3 hands because I have to focus the camera at the same time and do the pollination as well. And the camera doesn't want to put on focus. Yes, okay, so just take the lip. This is the pollen. Ah, okay, now you can see it better. Basically, you have to turn the flower up and try to go behind the column. So I need to open a bit the lip. I think I'm butchering this flower really. Okay, and put the pollen right here at the back, where hopefully will stick. Not quite. Okay, perfect. So hoping that I didn't damage too much the flower, the back part of the flower, this part will start developing a seed pod. It will elongate and become thicker. Actually, I have in my other Pleiones, my pink Pleione Tongariro, I didn't do any pollination this year. I did it last year, but this year I didn't do any. However, evidently some insects decided that the Pleiones were actually a pretty good flower to pollinate, so they were able to pollinate the orchids. You can see here the column still standing while the petals and the lip are already dried up, and you can see how the back of the flower is developing green and getting much thicker. This is a seed pod, and in autumn will become brown and will basically burst if you leave it on the plant, scattering the seeds, the very minuscule seeds, because they are really like dust around, and that's the way that how Pleione spread around in nature. So basically this at the back of the stem is the area where the seed pod developed. Do you see the green part just behind the petals and sepals of the orchid? That's the area that, if the pollination is successful, will elongate and become the seed pod. So hopefully, guys, I will give you an update in a few months or a few weeks for how the seed pod is developing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye.